be dealing with introduction to numerical analysis. Then we'll also deal with the significant figures, accuracy and precision, and error definitions. But for today's meeting, let's try to finish up until accuracy and precision para tayo ay synchronized with other sections. Analysis. Let's first define what is numerical analysis. So by definition daw po, this involves the study of methods of computing numerical data. Since in our industry, siguro since we are dealing with large amount of data, very numerous amount of data, or very in terms of the workload, it could be tedious. So diyan pumapasok yung numerical analysis. So pinadadali siya not only with the manual computation, but also since we are in the computer era, mas pinadadali siya ng computer. And kumbaga, we teach the computer on how we deal with this specific numerical problems. Then the computer will do its job in order for it to uh, have this numerical data treated. So, kaya nga siya tinawag na computer, no? So, it computes numerous amount of data on a daily basis, or even on a second or a minute basis, no? So, in many problems also, this implies producing a sequence of approximations by repeating procedure again and again. So, meaning it is a repetitive process, no? So, more of repetition. And if you could remember, during advanced mathematics, one of the numerical analysis that you have done is nagkakaroon tayo ng iteration, specifically on finding the roots of equation, as well as doon sa solving of linear equations. Okay, so people daw po who employ numerical methods for solving problems have to worry about the following issues. So these three would be the following issues for such. First one is yung rate of convergence. Ano ba pag sinabi natin convergence? Arrive tayo with guys. Hello? Choppy po ba ako or hello po? Narinig ba ako?
Yes po.
Okay. So thank you for your confirmation. Okay. So let's proceed again with the second one. So second one naman, we have the second issue, which is your accuracy. So with accuracy, it deals with the validity of the data or of the answer based on the existing data. And lastly is the completeness of response. Kasi some do other solutions in addition to find to find one ano. So technically yung ibang numerical methods is somehow it would be tedious on some aspects of the problem. So nawala ako guys, tama. Pero bumalik naman kayo. Okay. So yon. Saan tayo natapos? Na-discuss ko naman yung part ng completeness. Ano? Before, yan, nawala na naman. It's happening. Nawawala ako, guys. Connect na ako ng password ng 5G. Saglit lang, guys, ha. Na-connect na. Kanina yung sa yung walang 5G. Okay, let's proceed. OA na lakas. Let's proceed with numerical methods naman. So, ano yung pinakaiba niya naman with numerical analysis? Numerical methods daw provides approximation to the problem in question. So, basically, if we are to compare this with numerical analysis, on a general note, mas malawak yung concept ng numerical analysis. Sa numerical analysis, bago ka makapag-analyze ng numerical data, you must employ or you must apply these numerical methods. Nagigets niyo po yung difference. No, so yung numerical methods, yun yung mga specific methods na ina-apply natin to have this numerical data analyzed. Okay? There po. But in some instances, working out the exact answer by a different approach may not be possible. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina kasi it will take too much time. For example, this scenario 1 or yung problem number 1, yung method number 1 hindi siya applicable kasi it will take numerous amount of iterations. Pero yung method number 2, it only took you 5 iterations. So technically, meron po kanya-kanyang kumaga case-to-case basis po iyan. No. So one numerical method may not be applicable to a specific problem, but it can be effective on a specific one. Nagigets niyo po yung point. So may kanya-kanya po siya tayong kumaga parang pros and cons. Okay po. So let's proceed with modeling computers and error analysis. So by definition, numerical methods daw are technique used in formulation of mathematical problems so that they can be solved with arithmetic operations. Okay, so although there are many types of numerical methods, they have one mutual characteristic. They always contain large numbers of tedious arithmetic computations. Baka sabihin nyo kasi nagbabasa ako. Ito kasi isa simula lang, puro to concepts. But sa mga proceeding topics natin, yan, dyan na tayo magiging masaya. Pinasilip ko lang sa inyo. Sa panguling silip. Yan. Tinakot. Hindi, basta masaya naman siya. Magiging masaya naman siya. Enjoy ko to. Ay, hindi. Numerical methods lang. Ano kang akala mo? Numerical methods lang to. Hindi pala lang. Hindi, wag mo nilalang ang numerical methods ha. Wala na tayo eh. Kagulo kasi ni. Charot. Okay. Nasaan na ba tayo? Yan, they contain the large amount or large number of tedious arithmetic computations. So, nagpapasok yung non-computer methods. So, yung computers kasi is definitely one of the greatest invention of man. Kasi, this tedious, yung nabanggit kanina na tedious arithmetic computations, kung siya ay gagawin ng isang tao, it will take a long time. So we need the aid or the help of a computer in order for it na mapabilis yung ating trabaho or mapabilis yung ating computation. Kasi most of the time, we model. Ano yung mga specific type ng modeling? One specific type ng modeling na very applicable to this time, PJ. Ikaw dapat 415 kanina.
Sa anong tawag siya?
Sabi nila sila daw. Nagawa pa kay Ma'am Sol niya ako kumuha. Ah, so J-Love ka. Pwede naman tayo palit. Pwede naman. Okay. Anyways. So with the aid of or with the help of our computers, mas napapadali yung ating trabaho. 'Di ba? No. So in the pre-computer era, there were generally three different ways in which engineers approach problem solving kasi wala pang computer. So siguro curious kayo, paano kaya nag-approach yung mga engineers or mga scientists sa mga problema na nag-exist at that particular time? So paano kaya tayo nag-come up with the different inventions na meron tayo ngayon? Kagaya ng CNY jacket. Oh, wait. Wait. Tawa na lang ako sa CNY jacket. The first one is using or employing the analytical or exact methods para ma-derive yung mga solutions to this mathematical problem. And this mathematical problem, it's not simply mathematical problem but also real life mathematical problem. For example, yung population problem sa isang lugar. Technically, na-project nila yung magiging population niya, halimbawa in the near future, let's say in 5 years, in 10 years, projected natin yung population. And para masolusyonan yung problema ngayon, syempre, we must apply a specific part or specific where were we? Kapag may applicable lang siya, applications, no? For this mathematical or this exact methods na magagamit for solving these mathematical problems. Next, we also have the behavior of some systems were characterized by graphical solutions. So ito connected din with the first one kasi in the near future, we can adapt or we can have this previous data or yung mga data natin from history or historical data, and from this previous data we can have or we can project yung ating magiging trend in the future. For example, we're talking about the population. So from this population on the year, let's say 5 years before or 5 years ago, from this data, yung 5 years, let's say 2021, 2022, 3, 4 hanggang 6, yung population data na ito, you can already see that there would be a trend when you have when you put it into a graph. Then by as an engineer, you can see that this trend may be, for example, siya ba ay exponentially nag-grow, kung siya ba ay linear, depende on how you interpret the graphical data. Then from that, you can project kung ano yung possible na maging population nyo in the near future, let's say in 5 years. So yun yung somehow application of this. Then for the third one, devices such as calculators, slide rules, and slide rules can be used in the manual implementation of numerical methods. So gumagamit sila ng mga devices such as calculator. So dati naman, even before the computer era, meron na po tayong existing calculator. So we have here figure 1.1. This is the three phases po of engineering problem solving. From A, on the left side of our screen, we have the pre-computer era. On the right side is the computer era. So let's differentiate. So during the pre-computer era, most scientists and engineers nag-hypothesize sila when they observe something, they hypothesize these things. So magsisimula siya as theory. Then once it is proven by numerous data or numerous experiments. In these experiments, it will generate data. So from this data, they can prove their theory or yung kanilang hypothesis on the beginning. And by that, they can already, kumbaga most probably yung ginagawa kasi nagpa-publish sila ng mga papers that is widely known, hindi lang naman sa lugar nila but also on a worldwide setting. Nagkakaroon sila ng publication of their work, then based on the research or yung experiments na ginawa nila. And it involves still yung mga numerical solutions and numerical analysis na sinasabi natin earlier. No? So for the interpretation of this, more of in-depth analysis kasi in terms of the time, so yung one of the constraints kasi dito is the time. Kasi it's time consuming even before the pre-computer era. Ano? And yung pinagkaiba niya naman with the first or with the computer era, which is somehow yung mga recent generations or recent years lang. No? So nagkakaroon tayo ng in-depth exposition of relationship of the problem to the fundamental laws. So based on the existing fundamental laws that were derived from the pre-computer era, nagkakaroon tayo, kumbaga napapalalim natin yung knowledge natin with regards to such using again, syempre, the numerical analysis or yung approach natin on these problems. No, so kung mapapansin niyo more of yung mga nagiging researches or yung mga nagiging study natin at to this point is more of innovation or more of a modification of the existing fundamental laws. Ano, so more of ina-apply natin siya to make our life more convenient. Okay? So for the solution, yung solution niya is syempre with the aid of the easy to use computer method. And for the interpretation, mas madali siyang ma-calculate kasi we have the help or we have the aid already of computers. Okay. So for numerical methods and engineering practices, so basically it's yung application niya with the program engineer to the field of engineering. And specifically in our program sa petroleum engineering, yung mga applications niya would be for reservoir management, under reservoir engineering, for production management, or yung production engineering, wherein na nalalaman natin kung what year nagde-deplete yung ating oil doon sa ating formation or nagde-deplete yung ating resources or the hydrocarbon presence doon sa ating formation or sa reservoir. So nagkakaroon tayo ng idea with regards to that life of the well. And by that, when we have that idea, we can have or we can get the proper methods or drilling methods on how we deal with this specific reservoir. Kakaroon tayo ng, kumaga, in terms of it, based on the specific data that we have gathered, nagkakaroon tayo ng convenience on what we can apply or what we can do with that particular scenario or with that particular reservoir. And by that, we can minimize yung mga nagiging cost. Ano, kasi nababawasan natin yung mga errors at the near future. Kumbaga, in terms of the time, nagiging ano siya, nakakatipid tayo sa oras. And in our industry, time is money. Okay? So, it is more of economically viable. Ano, so malaki ang nagiging tulong or nagiging help ng numerical methods and analysis with our industry. Specifically, makikita naman natin siya sa mga tawag doon, yung mga software natin na ginagamit in the industry. Specifically, if you're familiar with T-Navigator, along with it is yung Eclipse, yung Petrel, yan, ano pa ba yung ibang mga simulation application natin. We have the Prosper used in production engineering. So, yan. Yun yung mga specific applications niya. Kasi normally, this simulation app uses algorithm and also yung the concepts of numerical analysis. No? So, more of computer-aided siya. Okay po. And ito, na-highlight sa fifth and last one is yung pag-strengthen daw ng numerical methods to your understanding of mathematics. So, kitang-kita naman siya sa inyong pretest. Ano? Na-strengthen ba yung inyong mathematics skills? Yung pretest? O antok na? Okay, anyways, let's proceed with the next one, which is the simple mathematical model. Okay, for simple mathematical model, you have this four basic components. The first one po is yung ating dependent variable. We have the second is the independent variable. Along with it ay yung parameters and forcing functions. So let's have a very basic example. So we have here the formula of getting the hydrostatic pressure or quantifying the hydrostatic pressure. So for the hydrostatic pressure, it is given as the rho GH, the density of the fluid at that na nag-exert ng at static condition, I mean at rest. Then we have the gravitational pull and lastly is yung kanyang height. So for this one, yung ating i-consider na dependent variable would be the hydrostatic pressure kasi it is dependent on these three. No? So dependent po siya. Mainly dependent po siya sa ating density. Okay? So since dependent po siya sa density, density will be considered as our independent variable. Kasi you can vary the density without affecting no. If you vary the hydrostatic pressure, it can pwedeng hindi maapektuhan yung density. Pwede nagbago lang yung height. Okay? So more of density would be the independent variable. Then for the parameters natin it could be h. Kasi yung g natin, which is the gravitational pull, can be denoted as the forcing function. Bakit? Kasi forcing function is pertaining to the external influences acting on the system. And based on this given, meron tayong fluid na at rest, syempre meron po tayong external forces which is yung gravity na nag-act doon sa fluid. Okay? So it's considered as the forcing function. Okay po? So analytical or exact solution satisfies original differential equation. However, there are many mathematical models that cannot be solved exactly. Diyan na po papasok ang numerical methods and analysis. Okay po. Next, let's proceed with significant figures. Okay. For significant figures, before tayo mag-proceed mainly doon sa rules of for having significant figures. Can someone tell me kung ano yung reading dito sa speedometer natin? Ano yung exact reading? If you can open your mic, you can type it on our chat box. Anyone? 49 na may question mark. 49. Okay. So, I hope everyone knows kung bakit 49. No? Gets naman kung bakit naging 49 yan, di ba? So, technically, meron dyang numerical, labeled numerical values na 40 and 60. And somehow, malapit sa gitna. However, it is one increment below dun sa pinaka-exactly gitna. Ang exactly gitna niya ay 50. Then, yung increments ng kada linya or kada line doon sa ating speedometer is 1. Knowing that the pagitan doon sa 40 and 60 ay 20 na lines, technically, 20 din yung kanyang lines, 20 din yung difference, ibig sabihin, one line is one value. Okay, so since one behind niya siya, which is one increment and one value, so that's 50 minus 1. So 49 po siya. Okay, let's proceed naman dito sa analog multimeter natin. Okay, for this one, analog multimeter, if you're familiar, siya yung parang may ballpen. Alam mo yung tsura nito, ganito. Ito yung itsura ng multimeter. Ito ang itsura po niya. Kita niyo po? Yan, yan yung itsura ng multimeter. Sino nakakita na nito? So yan, meron siyang red and black na parang ballpen siya. Pero pointed siya. Meron siyang metal part. Yung tip niya is metal. So kapag siya ay, it is used more of testing doon sa connectivity ng mga wires. Yun yung mga basic na pinagagamitan ng multimeter. Okay, anyways, going back to our presentation. With this one, you can see 4 parameters. 5 pala. 5 na parameters that you can be employing or applying with this multimeter, or you can read from this multimeter. So we have the ohm, that is the omega, yung green, kita nyo po, yung green, that is pertaining to the resistance. We also have DCV, or the direct current voltage. We also have the alternating current voltage, and lastly is yung milliampere, or yung kanyang current. Then at the bottom, we have the red one that is pertaining to dB. Second, this is decibel. Okay? So, let's focus muna doon sa ACV, or yung sa ating alternating current voltage. Sa tingin nyo, ano po yung value niya? Yung pinapoint out ng ating needle? Anyone who can answer? Kindly put your answer on the chat box. Can you give me a wild guess with this one? Ano yung sa tingin mo yung value for the alternating current voltage? Hello? 44 ACV. In terms of its unit, since it is alternating current voltage, so it's still volts. No, so 44 volts is accepted. Thank you, Laurent. 35? Bakit sa tingin mo naging 35 yung Jenny? Bakit 35? Siguro baka malay natin kasi tama ka. 35. How about Laurent? Why is it 44? And how did you?
Good afternoon po. Kaya po 44 yung napili ko kasi nakatapat po yung ACB dun po sa middle. Numbers po na 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 po. Tapos yung line po, yung meter po nakatapat po between 40 and 50. Tapos po nasa pang-apat po siya na line. Parang interval po niya ay 1 po. So 44 po yung napili ko, 44 volts po.
Okay, so it's a good observation with that one. How about yung atin pong DCV, or the direct current voltage? Okay, so that is 220 volts, no? So, in terms of milliampere or the current, siya naman is 8.8 milliampere, tama? So, that would be 8.8. So, that's for the case of the DCV, ACV, and MA, or yung direct current voltage, alternating current voltage, and the milliamperage. In terms naman of the ohm, or yung ating resistance, as well as dB, yung sa ohm natin, somehow, unlike nung first three nating na quantify, it is not exact. Teka, Hindi siya exactly pointing to a specific line. Kita nyo? So, dyan papasok ang estimation and approximation. Okay? So, with this one, dito sa ating ohm or sa ating resistance, you can see that it is between 0.5 and the value ahead of it. Since this is a 0 to 1, tapos 0.5 na sa gitna, meaning 0.1 yung increment natin. Okay, so if we are to approximate or we are to estimate the value of this in its resistance, meaning yung atin pong resistance would be somewhat near or approximately equal to 0.52 or you can say 0.53 depending on how you interpret the this one. Okay po. Then for the dB naman, it's somehow 21 point something. Siguro ay 21.08. Yun, pwede na yun. Pwede na siyang estimation kasi it's based on your own estimation. Clear po tayo doon. Clear. Okay. Let's proceed naman with rules of significant figures. With this one, I think you have already tackled or you have already dealt with this last time during your physics significant figure. So it's more of like magiging review na lang siya. Okay. First rule, all non-zero numbers are significant. Meaning if we have an example here of 33.2, this 33.2 meron po siyang 3 significant figures. So all non-zeros are significant. That's very basic. Next, zeros between two non-zero digits are significant. So basically, may 0 tayo pero siya ay nasa gitna ng 2 at 5. So it is considered as significant. So ilan yan? 1, 2, 3, 4. Apat na significant figures. Next, 3. For 3 naman, leading zeros are not significant. So what does leading zero means? So that is the zero that is ahead of any number. Let's say we have here 0.54. In 0.54, this 0 is not considered significant. So, ibig sabihin yung 5 and 4 lang yung significant figures natin. And by that, this 5 and 4 will be considered as 2 significant figures. Then, same goes for 0.0032. Since these 3 zeros are all leading zeros, they are not considered as significant. Okay po. Nagigets naman, madali lang naman siya intindihin, di ba? Okay. Next, we also have trailing zeros to the right of a decimal are significant. Okay, let's have this example, 92.00. So, 92.00, meron po tayong apat na significant figures. Kasi, it was mentioned that trailing zeros, pag sinabing trailing zeros, that are zeros after the decimal point. Or the decimal point. Okay, so it would be different or different case po siya with 92 alone. So 92, dalawang significant figure lang. Pero pag siya ay 92.00, apat po yan na significant figure. Okay? Nagets po. So bakit natin din na-differentiate ito? Meron kasing cases na, for example, we have two scientists. Yung isa nagde-deal with whole numbers, yung isa ay nagde-deal naman with the hundredths term or yung hundredths digits up until 2 decimal places. So, tendency, if we are to consider kung alin yung merong mas maraming significant figures, we're talking about the scientists who are dealing with the hundreds digits doon sa ating data or numerical data. Okay po. Next, we have the fifth rule. For our fifth rule, trailing zeros in a whole number with decimal shown are significant. Let's have this example. Actually, 5 and 6 is connected. 5 and 6 are connected with one another. For 5, siya ay may decimal. So, consider yung 0 as a significant figure. So, tatlo po yan. Dito sa 6, wala siyang decimal. Yung 0, hindi siya significant. Kaya dalawa lang ang ating significant figure. Gets po. Ganun lang yun. Ganun lang yung kasimple. Ito yung review lang ha. So, I'm expecting that you have already the idea of this. Next, for the exact numbers naman, meron po siyang infinite number of significant figures. Let's say 1 meter. Yung 1 meter, it can be rewritten as 1.00, it can be rewritten as 1.00, and so on, etc. Gets? So, marami siyang pwedeng form. Basta siya ay may unit. Meron kasi, yung unit, pag nagka-unit yan, exact number na agad yan. Okay? Next, for the last in the eighth rule, this is applicable to the scientific notations. No? For scientific notations, meron siyang multiplication sign, meron din siyang 10, then naka-raise po siya sa specific number, or let's say n. Itong 10 at yung n, yung kung ano mang number yan, hindi siya considered as a significant figure. So we're only considering yung first preceding values before the multiplication sign. Okay? So for this example, 5.02 times 10 to the 4, you can have here 5.02 times 10 to the 4. So meron siyang 3 significant figures. So for the 8th rule, dito sa mga values na nandito, we follow, kopyahin natin or ifa-follow po natin yung rules from 1 to 7. Gets po iyon. Gets. Guys, nagigets po. Okay. So we have here the multiplication and division. Okay. For earlier, we have discussed yung rules natin with significant figures. So paano naman kapag mag-apply po tayo ng operations, specifically multiplication and division? Let's have these examples. If you could notice, for 1 and 2, parehas lang yung kanyang expression. However, magkaiba yung ating magiging answer since magkaiba yung dinedemand. Yung una, dinedemand na 1 significant figure lang. Yung pangalawa, dinedemand na 3 significant figure lang. Okay? So, let us deal with the first one. For the first one, yung first step po natin for this one is to find the exact value. Yung tunay or yung true value po niya. What do you think? What is the value of this using your calculator? Ano po exact values niya? If you evaluate that in your calculator, 104.8951049. According to Lauren. Okay, so same lang naman siya with Mia. So, most probably this is correct. No. So, yan yung exact answer. However, we are demanded that yung atin pong answer is written or i-rewrite po natin siya in 1 significant figure. So, what would be the answer for this one? Actually, there are many possible answers. You can make it in scientific notation. If you could remember earlier, pwede mo siyang malagay into scientific notation. Pwede ding kung ano siya. Kung ano man. Okay, so the first answer by Mark Laurent is acceptable or siya is a correct answer or possible answer siya. Another one, ano ba, pag sinimplify mo ba yung 1 times 2 to the square, ano ba yung sagot siya? 100. Kasi, yung atin pong mga trailing zeros, pag wala siyang decimal, non-significant po siya. So, ang significant lang doon sa 100 is literally 1 only. So, isa lang, literal na isa lang. Or yung 1 na value, yung digit na 1. Okay po, clear tayo doon? So, you just need to find the nearest value or you just need to round up or down depending kung ano yung demand. Okay. How about kapag naman siya ay 3 significant figures? Ano naman po ang ating magiging answer for this one? Okay, we have two different answers. First one said that it is 105. The second one said, and the second and the third one said it's 104. Which do you think is the correct answer for this one? Actually, there is already a correct answer from these two answers. Ano sa tingin niyo yung tama? 104, 105? According to Mark Laurent, it's 105. According to Althea, the two Althea, Althea Square, it's 104. What do you think? How about yung iba? Can you try? Okay, according to Hans, it's 105. According to Christy, it's 105. To Eliza as well. To Leon, to Markangel. Okay, so it is 105. Since it is the nearest value, we need to round it up. Okay, kasi if you could remember earlier, yung na-compute po nating value is 104.8951049. And the proceeding number after the decimal place is 89. So you just need to round it up. Okay po. Next is to state the number of significant figures. So, how many significant figures yung nakikita po natin dito saan? Okay, so we see 6 significant figures. Though meron po tayong presence ng dalawang zero, yung dalawang zero na yun is somehow nasa pagitan ng dalawang non-zero number or non-zero answers. So for the fourth one, there could be a debate here since meron siyang unit. It could be applied to an infinite number. Tapos pwede din na i-consider natin yung rules 1 to 7 excluding if I'm not mistaken, that's the fifth rule. That's the seventh rule. So 1 to 6 lang yung ating if we are to consider the first 6 rules. So ang mangyayari dyan is ano siya? Magiging 5. Magiging 5 siya kasi trailing zeros right of a decimal are significant. Pero if we are to consider the kilogram, ang atin pong i-consider na number of significant figures would be infinite. Kasi this could be rewritten as 67.0300 or 67.000, etc. etc. Kasi meron po siyang exact number. Clear po tayo doon? Okay, so we can have, pwede siyang 5, pwede siyang So, depending on, kung wala siyang kilogram, basically it's 5. But since nagkaroon siya ng kilogram, possible na maging niya is infinite. Okay, so we have here the accuracy and precision. So, it is defined here that accuracy refers to how closely a computed or measured value agrees with the true value. Precision naman is referring to how closely individual computed measured values agreed with each other, regardless kung siya ay true or not true value. So, para mas maintindihan nyo, let's have here these 4 images on a figure that shows 4 different cases or scenario. First one, as you can notice, there is a low or mababa yung accuracy and low precision. Kasi sa pakanan is pataas ang accuracy, sa pababa, pataas naman ang precision. So for this one, sa A, mababa yung accuracy, the same goes for its precision. And as you can see, yung atin pong data is scattered. So this data is somehow analogous or pwede po nating i-compare yung analogy niya with a marksmanship board or yung sa mga dart, sa mga gun, tawag doon? Gun range, yon. So mga archery yan, pwede yan. Then for letter B, doon sa B, we increase its accuracy. However, its precision is still the same. Okay? With the same precision, with a very low precision and a high accuracy, you can notice that it is somehow scattered. However, meron siyang meron siyang target. Nagagets niya. Unlike kapag sa C naman, increase ang precision, mababa ang accuracy. Pero, as you can notice, they agree on one value, pero yung value na yun is not the target. Nagagets niyo po yung analogy if we are to compare it with a data. Then kapag naman yung D, both mataas yung accuracy and precision. So technically, close yung ating magiging data, then it is still at the true value. Okay? Gets po yung difference between accuracy and precision. Gets po iyon. Okay. So, proceeding to these topics ay error definitions, and para mas synchronize tayo with other section, let's deal with this on our next meeting. No? So, siguro by now, ay may natutunan naman tayo sa ating discussion. Tama? Okay. So, I think that's enough for today, yung discussion natin. If you don't have any question, I assume you don't have since you're not raising your hand. No, so if you don't have any question, let's call it a day. Thank you po for attending our class. See you on, kailan na ating meeting? See you on O3 kayo, diga? Thursday. Okay, thank you. See you on Thursday.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.